Hello, good day everybody, and welcome to the next episode, number 4, I think, from the Jiska and Patrick Live. We are both online entrepreneurs, and today we are interviewing a whole new guest, but Jiska will introduce her. So we are curious about her transformation and how she's doing right now. Jiska, can you introduce our guest of today?
Absolutely, or at least I think I can. It's funny that I'm actually at Holly's place right now, because that's what the SFM does for people. It brings people together, and I can proudly say that I'm Holly's friend and she's my friend. And what's actually funny is that we decided, well, we didn't decide, we discovered today that it was last year, July, that we saw each other for the first time, also here at her house, when I was blunt enough to just jump on a train and join a couple of our community members who were meeting up in the northern part of the UK. And I was just joining the community and I thought, let's go out and meet these people, and Holly was part of them, and here we are 1 year later almost, again having Easter weekend together, which is quite a special thing. So an introduction of Holly. She's awesome.
Okay, we can start. That's it.
And we've asked her to sit in on this conversation today because I know she's been through great transformation, and I know she's been an inspiration for many people in our community, and it is high time that more people outside of our community also get to know about her and her story. And you know, this is going to be very inspiring for more people even. So Holly, you joined a little before me in the community, didn't you? When did you start?
Yeah, I joined in at the end of May 2016, so about a year before.
Yeah, probably ish. So that's now
almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years, and you're still enjoying it.
I love it. It's the longer I'm here, the more I'm getting out of it, and the more I feel that I can give. So yeah, the longer I go along, the better it is getting. Yeah.
It's good to hear that you are still enjoying your time, because the people that we've interviewed so far have been rather early in their journeys of SFM. So it would be very interesting to hear what you've been doing in a longer period of time in SFM, and how it is still interesting for you to be part of this community, and how you're not like fed up with it or done with it yet. So I think that's going to be a great addition to all the Jiska and Patrick live series that we've had so far. Shall I continue with the first question, Patrick, or do you want to know something more about Holly first?
I think we will first start with the questions, but thank you. Yeah, for your first introduction.
So Holly, the first question that we have for you would be, was there a period of time in your life where you were rather afraid, and like to a level that it changed your life, the direction of your life? This is a rather personal question before we go into your business.
Yeah, so before this happened.
Or while you were within the SFM community, could be either or.
Afraid in general about anything?
Yeah.
Or, there's been 3 massive points where in my life where I've I don't know if scared is the right word, but it's been a situation where it's been a big situation and I've had to find a way to deal with it. So the first one was back in 2006 when my second child, Archie, was born. He was born with severe disabilities, and we didn't know how long he was going to live. We knew he didn't have long to live, but so immediately I was afraid of what's going to happen.
The future was going to bring.
Yeah, because it's a whole different world that I'd never known before.
Of
talking a different language, all the medical things, a whole different language, and suddenly you've got this thing that is about to be taken away from you, and there's nothing that you can do about it.
That was for certain. That was not.
Yes, yeah, it was going to happen. We just didn't know when he was going to die. So 2 years later, he died. So again, that conjured up a lot of fear and being afraid of, well, how do I deal with that? How do I deal with? But because at that point he'd got an older sister and a younger brother by that point. So how do I deal with keeping those two okay. And at that point,
Being
I was
a
married
mom.
as well. Yeah. How do I deal with it and function and allow my other two children to thrive still, and it not be I don't know what the word is for that, but yeah, for it not to end their, not life, that's the wrong word, but anyway, so yeah, just to really keep them doing what they're doing. So that was the first time. The second time was when me and my husband split up,
and the sun starts shining,
because it was perfect timing. Yeah, so I left my husband with my two kids because of various things that he was doing. So I was really afraid then, because again, I didn't know what I was walking into, because it was suddenly me and two kids, and I left everything, so I had to start from scratch again. So I was afraid about that. And then 2 years, that was in 2013, and then 2 years ago, almost to the day, just over 2 years ago, Joshua, my youngest son, was diagnosed with cancer. So again, thrown back into this arena of not knowing what was going to happen. He wasn't supposed to, the cancer that he'd got was really aggressive, and the outlook wasn't great for him. So again, it's just dealing with all those things. I was fearful and afraid of not knowing what was happening. And he's okay now. He's gone through treatment and is on the long-term follow-up. So yeah, he's come out the other side, which is amazing. So and
you're okay now as well.
Yeah, we're learning to deal with things as they come day to day, because everything, he's still got all the side effects of all the treatment are impacting him greatly on his life. His life is very different now to what it was before, but he's alive. He has his legs still that he shouldn't still have, and at the minute he can use it and do all the things. So there's a lot of other things that go on behind the scenes that people don't really realise after the treatment, that's just how it is now. So yeah, so I'm all right. That was certainly the trigger for me to start changing my life at that point. So not that I would wish cancer on anybody, but I am very grateful for
the wake-up calls.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow,
that was a very long answer. Sorry.
Sometimes people say, well, I fell from my bike. But yeah, obviously I knew that you had a story, and I just want to say thanks for putting it all out there again. And I can see from what I know from you is that it helps you massively to be able to get these opportunities to actually talk about them. It makes you who you are, and you know how strong you are, maybe also by reflecting upon it every time.
And it also, I've got this phrase of figuring, are we allowed to swear on this? Figuring shit out. I feel very comfortable in being able to do that, because I've had to do that in quite big life experiences, and I had to move forward from situations that are horrible if you have one of them in your life, let alone
all of them
collectively. So it gives me a lot of belief in myself that I can deal with things. So it's been an interesting journey.
Wow.
But it's got me to where I am today, and it's why I'm the good and the bad of it, and things that I'm working on myself, and it's highlighted things that I want to work on, and also highlights things that I feel are really good qualities or traits that I've got that I can use to design this life that I'm designing. So,
and to help other people.
Absolutely, to help other people. It's really important to it just shows that if you're just that one step ahead of somebody else, then you can provide so much value,
no matter what that is.
So with Joshua's cancer journey, there's a Facebook page for that, which has followed his journey the whole way through, and a lot of other parents who've got children with cancer are on there as well. And it's just almost not explaining, but sharing our story, and they kind of know what's about to happen. Even though every different story is very different.
It has similarities. It has phases that everybody goes through.
And it also is quite it can give people hope. Not every cancer story has a good outcome. One of our friends that we met while we were in hospital, their son died a few months ago, and so there aren't always these good outcomes at the end of it. But it helps people to see that you can have fun and have cancer. You can live your life while you're going through the treatment and all that kind of thing. It just helps you, other people, to see that just a few steps further ahead, that things can be okay if you.
There is a life after.
Yeah, and during as well.
And during,
yeah, and that can be applied. Whether takeaway, I always feel like I'm talking about cancer because it's something I'm really passionate about. It's a passion project on the side. But that can be applied to anything. So the online business, just being that few steps ahead. You don't need to be this big guru, sat in the big towers up there. You don't need to be that.
With bleached teeth and gym bodies.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very. I was a little bit emotional because I've also got children, of course, and yeah, when you have lost one child already, and and also now when your second child of you is diagnosed with cancer, so maybe you was thinking that maybe
it's happening
again.
It's like I'm doing this again.
So for me, it's amazing that you're sharing this story, and also the power.
The way you talk about it, absolutely.
Yeah,
incredible.
It's amazing. Sorry.
So, thanks for answering that question.
Great.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you.
If you are ready, Patrick, then we are ready.
Yeah. Okay. No, but I know where the power is from if you experience that kind of thing. But what has SFM enabled you to do in your life at this moment? Because you're now joining SFM. What has it enabled you to do?
Well, when I joined back in 2016, it was we were actually in hospital, and Joshua was having chemotherapy at the time, so we were in hospital when I joined. But my employer, because I was working full time at the time before all Joshua's diagnosis, I was a recruitment manager, which I was working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just didn't have a life. I was a single mom with 2 kids, and I just didn't spend any quality time with them. Even when I was at home, I was always working. And then my employer decided that I couldn't do the job that I was doing and be where I needed to be for Joshua at the same time. So my income went overnight almost. So I needed to find something that was I could do on my time, because I didn't know whether we were going to be in hospital or something could change very quickly, and it might not have been a hospital week, but his counts might have been really low, which meant that he got an infection, then we'd have to go into hospital just like that. So I needed something I could do on my time, and I needed an income. And I also needed to be flexible as well, where I could do it from, because I might have been doing something in the hospital, or I might have been doing something at home, or wherever I was going to be. So that kind of, the SFM ticked all of those boxes for me. Not overnight, because the income doesn't come immediately, but it gave me something that I could work towards, which I did. So at that point, it gave me a way to create that income. But what's looking back now, what it gave me that was more important than the income was the people that were around me at the time, the people in the community. So I'd be sat on wake-up calls by the hospital bed, and the support that I was getting from people, everyone else in the community, that I can hand on heart say that the community got me through stably up here all of his treatment, because everyone was so supportive. And when they sent well wishes or said, let me know if there's anything I can do, I knew it was real and it came from the heart. It wasn't just somebody saying, politeness. Oh, well, let me know if there's anything I can do. It was like real, and they meant it, and they would check in on me if I'd been quiet for a day or so. They would check in, but very respectfully. And it was just a really nice environment to be in while I was going through that. And it's turned in now the community. Well, we've got a house full of people sat behind it.
Yeah.
And more on the way. And so yeah, it gave me a community of people who I'd never really had, or I've never had friends that I connect with like this on such a level. So it's given me true best friends on all depths, not just shall we go out for a drink on Friday depth. It's like true friendship that I'd never felt before. It's given me the skills and education to build a business. So now I've got a social media consultancy business. So I do that completely separate to the SFM, but that's a bit that came from the SFM education and the mindset work.
So you're an affiliate for the SFM as a company, and you're referring people to SFM like all of us do.
Yeah.
But then you also help other people and businesses out with their social media, and therefore your social media agency has grown into how you can pay your bills now.
Yes, yeah. So that I've replaced my income with it fairly quickly, from quickly losing it. And it gives me more. Again, it's not so much the money. Yes, money is very important, and it is. Some part of this is about the money, because you need some money, and it also gives you choices. I'm a firm believer that it's money isn't everything, but being poor isn't fun. So it lets me do the things that I like to do. Like, it's really important for me to be able for my kids to do what I couldn't do growing up, which was we went on holidays, but we didn't see lots of the world. We saw Spain and Costa del Sol. And it's important for me that I give my kids the opportunity to see the world and experience things, and for them to make their choices with what they want to do with their life as well. So it's allowing us, that last summer we went to Cyprus for all of the summer holidays. Just packed the laptop in, did a few hours work. So it's allowing us to do things that I would never dream of before this. I always thought, oh, that's for those people over there that can do that. I never considered myself part of the type of person that could do that, but here I am now. It's so it's allowed me to do so much. My relationship with my kids is just on a whole different level. I'm there when I'm with them. When they're not at school, my attention is purely focused on them. I'm not balancing a laptop, 3 different phones that are ringing, and need to talk.
You were called out by your kids, weren't you, about doing groceries on Sundays?
Yeah, because we still go shopping for like supermarket shopping on a Sunday. And Joshua had said, why are we still shopping on a Sunday when you've got all week to do this? This should be. I'm like, oh, okay, good point.
Good point. Yeah, that's a habit, an old habit.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's still quite a lot of old habits that are there, but now I can see them and recognize them.
It's funny how
laugh about that.
laugh about, and how your kids are recognizing the new lifestyle and what's possible, and remind you of, hey, we have more freedom than we actually think, and more quality time than we even more than we already having.
That's funny.
Yeah, beautiful what you told us. So more freedom of time, place, and income, but also the friendship and the deep connection with other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
So people don't have to take our words for it, Patrick.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Another proof, social proof.
Another proof, social proof. Yeah, true.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So the next question for you, Holly, would be: can you I hope you can answer it. I know you can. I hope you want to answer it. Can you maybe mention a moment in your life where you made a great impact on somebody else's life? And maybe that is because of the SFM. It very likely is because of the SFM. But is there a moment where you felt that your experience and your knowledge and your past could add up to someone else's path? As small or as big as it may have seemed to you.
That's a tricky one, that one. I would like to think there are moments of that, whether I would recognize them as as that, because I still struggle with that. I still struggle with, I know I've got value, and it's pinpointing when that happens. I really struggle with that. But I would like to think so. I'm very open with what I talk about. I'm very candid about things. I'm very to the point with things that I don't really skirt around edges. So yeah, hopefully that it's either given someone a little bit of a kick up the backside to see something a little bit differently, or some information that I've shared that might have helped them. But yeah,
if I may add to that, there's a reason why Patrick and I wanted to ask you for this interview, because these kind of situations allow you to impact other people's lives. And I know that other people in our community also have asked you to sit in there and to interview you. So
that's right.
That I think that's proof of how they know and they can see how your story can impact people's lives.
Yeah.
So
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't ask this question to anyone, so
I think you just do. Once you've been in this, it's very difficult to say, or I find it really difficult to believe that I had value to share. Very difficult, because I anyway, I like to make sure that other people have got what they need, and make sure that they've always got what they need. But I never really flip that back on me to make sure that am I giving them that it is. Does that make sense?
It
what
does.
Am I giving the needs? So yeah.
Well, your kids are two beautiful examples of how you're ready.
Yeah, they are quite annoying sometimes though. So.
Sometimes.
I know how you always say that you want your kids to see what else is out there, what's possible.
Yeah, and breaking
apart from the traditional
pattern
and standards and schools and jobs and life paths.
That's the other thing that this experience has given me. It's instead of having blinkers on, just looking at what society says,
being a sheep. Yeah,
they've got the whole 360 degree viewpoint now, where I almost encourage them not to go down the traditional path, because I want them to go do something different,
feel from the inside
for what they want to do, and just question everything, even at school. Well, how is this going to get me to where I want to be? Is this the only way that I can do that? And mostly the answer is no. So they go find their own way and go do it that way. So that's another massive thing actually, is giving them this 360 degree view on life, hopefully. And it's still work in progress. I'm not there. I'm not this. We're not all there. I don't think we ever all get there, do we? It's just a process and a journey to think differently.
One more little thing to add is that I know in your social media agency, you are not doing just social media for people. You enable other people to get some more freedom in their jobs or in their lives. You take over a task from them that frees them up to do something that they're more passionate about in their job, or in their lives to have some more free time and balance their lives out as well.
Absolutely. That's freedom is a massive thing for me, is creating freedom, whatever that looks like for somebody else. Because what you see as freedom, I might see differently, and Patrick might see differently as well. So it's whatever that means for them, is to create that. So if it's time freedom, then let's look at systemizing processes so that you're creating more time, or leveraging these digital skills that we've got to give them more time. Or if it's location freedom, well, let's look at getting things online so that you pick your laptop up and be location independent. So it's more than just posting on Facebook and posting on Instagram. That underneath the lower levels, the deeper levels, are all about getting that person to never feel as though they're trapped or stuck, because that's how I felt when we were going through Joshua's diagnosis, that I was suddenly trapped because I got one income that I suddenly couldn't have anymore, and then I was, well, what do I do? What am I supposed to do? So that's it's more than just a social media agency.
No.
It's a lot deeper than that.
Lot of social impact.
Thank you. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I have a next question. Is that okay?
Yeah. I like this. This is a good answer.
Yeah. Holly, you are now in for almost 2 years with SFM. Maybe when you started, you have set a goal, but maybe you can also tell along the journey. What's your goal now? Has it been changed?
Yes,
You...
my first goal was to replace my income. That's why I came into this, is that I needed income because I'd lost it, and I needed it to be on my terms, so location and time. So yeah, I've achieved that. I've replaced my income. My next goal is to build something that's bigger than me, so to have more impact on more people. So as far as a tangible goal, it would be I've got lots of different goals under lots of different
sub goals.
Lots of different things. Lots of different things. But my next biggest goal is to create more income streams, and all the other goals come
multiple income streams.
So that I've got a few now, but I want to create more of those so that I know that I'm stable myself, for me and the kids still, but also through ways of helping other people to do that. It's not, so this is where it's not about the money thing is, I want to do that for my financial freedom, but in a way that can help other people along the way. Not otherwise I'd just go get a job, create more money that way, but I'm not doing that.
Work in Pizza Hut.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, or McDonald's.
Oh, McDonald's.
I'm not picky. I won't choose either.
Okay, yeah. Multiple income streams, so you... Yeah, okay. And okay, that's a goal. Can you also share us your vision? You have a vision. Can you share what's your vision with this business?
Yeah, so it's the overall one. So the overall, all of the different income streams that I've been creating, it's to I call it this bench moment that I had, so that no one ever has a bench moment. So it's making sure that everybody are completely free and independent themselves to make their own choices.
What's the bench moment?
I was sat outside the hospital on one of Joshua's surgeries.
On a bench
outside the hospital. Okay. He was up in surgery. And I was just sat there, and I was worried about money, thinking, where am I gonna get money from to live, to put? I still got 2 children, whether one's got cancer or not got cancer. And I felt so guilty. So in one thought was this problem's about money, but then I'm thinking, hang on a minute, Holly, your son sat up on that operating table and may or may not come out with a leg, and you're worried about money. So it was and then you get all the other thoughts as a parent, where I've not spent all the guilt that you've not spent the time that you should have spent with them because I was doing all this other work and all this other stuff. So it's so that people don't, the bench moment is that no one ever feels like that, so that nobody ever feels like the money's an issue. Nobody ever feels like that they can't concentrate on the one thing that's important to them at that time, whether that's eating dinner round the table, that I am only concentrating on the conversation that's happening around the table. I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm not worried about anything else, or whether that's something much bigger in life. But so that the bench moment being that nobody ever feels that they're trapped and don't have
a presence,
are left with they're trapped into not being able to think about what they want to think about. I always find that really difficult to put into words, because it's there's not like a vision statement in that sense. It's
I think this is a huge vision. It's a huge
I always find it difficult to put into words. It's just a feel. It's a feeling that I find really difficult to describe, that I wouldn't want anyone else to go through that kind of feeling.
I understand it. I think you described it perfectly well.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No, seriously. think.
Thank you. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, there we are.
Hey.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. It was Jiska.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The line is.
Yeah. Okay.
Shall I go on and ask the next question?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Holly. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Can you mention a moment where you thought this is a light bulb moment? This is an aha moment.
Yeah. So that was on the 21st of October, 2017 at about 4:30 p.m.
Tell us.
Yeah. And the people that are sat behind us here, we were sat in a different house in Ashby, St. Ledgers, having another few days together. And I'd gone from, I just suddenly believed in myself. It was through a few different conversations that I'd heard before, but something at that point I'd listened, something hit me out of all of those different conversations, and I started viewing things differently, and I found the complete belief in myself, which is another reason why I go on about the community so much, is that you've got to be having these conversations with people. They don't need to be experts. It's just having these conversations, talking out loud, that you suddenly, this light bulb moment, you're like, oh,
now
it's, yeah. And then ever since that day, I've done loads of work on myself, peeling back all these different layers, which is a continuous process. And just found my voice and the confidence to voice my voice coming from here. I've always been very loud and not bothered about speaking in front of people, but it comes from a very different place now, that
more purposeful.
Yeah, and more authentic and more real, because I think I'm still trapped in my corporate world of, you have to be this person and these are the kind of things that you've got to say and this is what you should be thinking.
Say.
Yeah, to coming out of that and being thinking, well, actually,
what do I think?
What is it? What do I? Yeah, because the work I was doing on me was more, well, you got to find Holly again, but I was asking myself, well, I don't know if I knew who she was in the first place, because I've always been somebody else for somebody else. So whether that's when I was a wife, or as a mum, or as an employee, or as a sister or a daughter, I was in a role that somebody else needed me to be. So I didn't actually know who the real Holly was. So that was really interesting, actually, to like, well, who am I? And then it's almost, well, I can be whoever I want. So I can choose who I want to be in that sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a massive light bulb moment on that day, because it's kind of set everything else off in motion. If you'd had this conversation, well, I was sat actually on the afternoon with cameras in front of me, crying. Well, you were there, weren't you? She saw it.
Yeah.
Having a total, didn't believe in myself at all, and just, it was, yeah. I feel like a very different person now, from the inside out. I was very good before at putting on a front, putting red lipstick on and some heels, and that was my yeah. But actually now, what you see on the outside is exactly what is on the inside, which never was before. So
wow.
So yeah, that's what happened on that day. Big light bulb.
Wow, big one.
That's a big one. Yeah, the big one, big transformation, and also good to mention that being surrounded with the people of SFM. I also experience the light bulb moments when you join a wake up call or talk to. Sometimes you are alone, doing your work alone, and it's good to stay connected with the community too. And then sometimes you pick up a sentence or just a word or just an emotion. I really can know what.
The more involved you are in the community, the more you will grow, and as a result, your business is going to grow. The more, I think that's what we've got as our group is really special, because we're just constantly pushing each other higher, higher and higher. And
you get asked questions when you don't end up doing the things that you set out for yourself to do, like, why didn't you do this, like what did come up, and how it's not that we punish each other or whatever, but it's like we make each other realize that this is a priority and this is important for the rest of our lives. So if you don't step up for a week, that's totally possible, but we are here to make sure you don't go off of the path.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's special.
great. Final question. Yeah, that's the last question, and the last questions that I want to ask is what advice can you give to new members who are watching our show, and what can you give them, your advice? What is your advice if they just started with us with SFM?
I would say go through the modules step by step thoroughly, and don't rush them. It's very easy. I came in, I'm like, right, got to get this done, and just money. Yeah, but I need to do it faster. And then once I've done them all, I had to go back and do them again because things weren't making sense. And they're like, you just follow the steps. So yeah, follow the steps. Have been designed very purposefully. Don't rush them. Do them all thoroughly, especially module 2. Module 2 is like your foundations of everything else. Otherwise you'll end up building something that doesn't fit what you want your life to look like, and then you end up resenting it, and then it doesn't work. But if you just follow the steps as they're designed to be followed, do that. So that's one. Second one is to get involved in the community as much as possible, and the quickest way and the best meaningful way to do that is as soon as you finish module 3 is jump into the 90-day video challenge. That's huge. I said before I started this business, I'd said, if I've got to be on camera, I'm not doing the business. I would rather not go down this. I would rather not do it than have to be on the camera. And now it's like, give me a camera. Interview,
yeah.
So
great.
And video that I ever did, it was cringe. It was like, oh god. As I was presenting the weather forecast. Hi, I'm Holly Barras. I'm 34 years old. At the time, I'm not now. So it was getting the video challenge. The connections that people make in there is massive. And
the transformation that people go through so to give a little bit of background, 90-day video journey is a 90 days that people pick for themselves when to start with, but then for those days they make one video each day, and they learn and they get comfortable in front of the camera and to express your value, your story, to get to know yourself and to see your progress, to document your progress. And it's in the beginning everybody's a bit nervous, etc., but our community is just almost waiting for new people to start to give them love and support, because everybody knows how important this journey is, this challenge, and we want everybody to go through that. So whenever someone is just starting out, there's immediately like 20 comments saying, welcome, congratulations, you did it, we're here for you. So that's really important. Yeah, really special.
That's a massive thing as well. And let's leave it as that.
Good.
2 things.
Good. No, but I think now it was a do you have, Jiska, do you have another question at this moment, or I think
of
Holly, do you have
Holly, do you have a question?
I don't know. No, I don't think I've got a question, but thank you guys for having me on. You're been very enjoyable.
I knew this conversation was going to be about massive transformation.
Yes.
I didn't think it would be. I'm all buzzing right now. I'm so listening to you. Listening to you makes me feel even more proud to be part of this community and to be more, I never use this word, blessed. I really never use this word, to be part of it and to have the opportunity to experience this and to take this with me on my life journey as a whole. And knowing that what I'm learning here is just so incredibly important for who I am and who I am becoming. And your story is one of those stories that makes me motivated and see what is possible, and I want a piece of that. And I already am in here, but I still want a piece of what you're going through. Like, please give me, expose me to all of that as well, and it makes me ready for whatever is coming onto my SFM journey by looking at what you've accomplished in the last 2 years. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Holly. It was, yeah. Thank you. Now, it was, for me also, it was really inspiring. It was emotional, of course, of your story. You have an amazing story to tell, really powerful. And yeah, I think it was an amazing interview, and thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
You guys.
Thank you. Yeah.
For everybody who's watching,
Okay.
we will see you in the next episode. Thank you very much for watching. And if there's any questions, just reach out to me, Patrick, or Holly. We'll leave her contact details in the description below. And we will be back to you soon.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.